Hey everyone, I'm Steph,
And I'm Megan.
and welcome to another episode of Late Night Reads.
This week we are diving into the magical world of romantasy and covering The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen.
Let's start with why we selected the games gods play. Is there a more quintessential bad boy than Hades?
Literally, hot
Whew.
daddy.
Right? Like, he's the god of death. Like, what do you mean he has a sweet side and would also burn down the world for you? Sign me up.
I really kind of wanted him to have like the blue flame hair too, just like,
Like Disney Descendants style.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of still what I imagined anyway. I was just like, ooh, hi
I,
daddy. Mm.
Plus, we have not done a book on the podcast that involves Olympic gods yet. And this does have all of our favorite things. We have a female main character with lots of emotional trauma in the past. She has no filter on her mouth. There's high stakes. There's lots of plot twists. And there's a damaged bad boy who isn't what he seems. Like, it checks all of our boxes. Plus, I love that this world combines like present day with the Olympic gods. So, like, world building was super easy to digest. So, you could get quickly addicted to the story. You didn't have to, I think, sometimes with world building, when it's really complex, you have to think a lot as you're doing it. And it lets me read slower. And I love this because I was on the beach in Hawaii as I was reading this, and I was just like, quickly, like through the Kindle. Here we go.
Yeah. It was kind of like a little bit like a Hunger Games, but like Olympic style. And by Olympic, I mean Olympic gods. So.
Yes.
But it was good. But okay, here are a few things that you should know about the author Abigail Owen. So she is a number one New York Times, number one USA Today, and international best-selling author of over 30 books that range from the upper young adult, 18 and over, to then epic romantasy to new adult modern with a mythic romantasy and spicy adult and some paranormal activity stuff. So that could be fun. Basically, she loves magical worlds with plots that move hot and fast. She's got feisty heroines with sass, heroes with heart, dash of snark, and oodles of happily ever after. And Abby currently resides in Austin, Texas with her very own swoon-worthy hero. And mostly angelic teenagers, is what she says anyway. And she has an adorable fur baby as well. So, fun things about Abby.
So, before I jump into this book, a couple of key reminders. As always, this episode will contain spoilers. We assume if you're listening, you have read this book. Also, this book does contain a number of sensitive topics that we will talk about: anxiety, assault, blood, bullying, death, medical trauma, and violence.
But let's talk tropes. So first we have enemies to lovers. Hades is the god of death. Is there a bigger perceived enemy to mortals than death? I mean, that's literally like the exact like enemy that everybody has. So that's number one. Then we have forced proximity. Hades chooses Lyra as his champion for the Crucible, and it's a competition that he's actually never participated in. So he's literally just decided to do this. And he literally had just met her earlier that day. And now she has to live with him during the entire trial. So literally stuck to each other. Then we have forbidden love. So while there are technically not any rules against a romantic, dalliances between gods and mortals, it seems pretty obvious that falling for the god of death is likely not ideal, especially in this situation. So, kind of a no-no, but let's see what happens anyway. And then we have different worlds. So, number one, he is an Olympic god. I mean, she's not. So, there you go. And then number two, she is literally a clerk in the Order of the Thieves. So, not only do they literally live in completely different like physical worlds, but they also have experienced very different lives. Like she has like worked hard to get to where she is, and even so, like there's still so much further she needs to go in her life. And he's a god, so easy. Then we have slow burn. So there are more than 85 chapters without any spicy scenes. Drove me crazy. The slowest of slow burns, but oh, it is a good burn. I want more,
I
obviously.
cannot wait for book two.
I cannot wait for book two. I think it's going to be even more on fire in book two. At least it better be. But it was still good. You're still like going on being like, oh my God, when is this going to happen? Like, they're so close. They're so close. And you're like, but it's still so good. So we love it. And then we have Bad Boy. Seems very obvious. God of Death. Everyone fears him. Bad boy. Check. And lastly, we have touch, hurt, and die. Hades will hurt anyone who threatens or harms Lyra. He even takes her place for a punishment by the daemon. And at the end of the book, he may actually end up burning the entire world down when she is sucked down into Tartarus?
Tartarus, I think.
Tartarus, yeah.
That's what we're going to call it.
We're going to call it, yeah. Tardy land, I don't know.
The bad place.
The bad place. Like,
right.
You have hell, and then you have the bad place inside of hell.
Correct. Because the underworld actually doesn't sound that bad.
No, it sounds beautiful. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Don't mind.
Okay, in terms of every magical twist, there's a lot going on. So it starts off opening day for the Crucible. Lyra's attending the festivities as like her job as part of this clerk for the group of thieves. And she's been a member of this group since she was 3 years old. I was like, holy shit. Her parents gave her up because she was cursed by Zeus after her mom's water broke in Zeus's temple. And I was like, oh, so Zeus is definitely a vengeful god. We curse babies in this world. Great.
Cool.
Great. And Lyra happens to have this long-term crush on another thief in the guild, Boone, who I just assumed was like super swoon-worthy and incredibly hot. And that becomes obvious to another thief, Chance, who's a real asshole, and starts harassing her about the crush and alludes to how no one cares about Lyra, which is problematic because she's been cursed to be unlovable. So she decides, why not just leave the assignment and go to Zeus's temple and take her anger out on the god by throwing a rock at the temple? And I'm like, he cursed you as a baby. Do you think this is a good idea? But you know we love feisty women who have no filter. So here we are. But before she can do anything, she's stopped by this mysterious voice instructing her not to do it because Hades is there. And she assumes that Hades is going to smite her or kill her or send her to the underworld. And I was like, all of those three sound not great at the time. And he's like, well, I don't plan to kill you yet. I'm like, great. Thank you. And then he refers to her as a star. And I have a lot of questions about what this means because I think there's some serious ties going on. So prepare for some unhinged craziness later. But she lies to him and tells him that her name is Felix, which is kind of hilarious because I'm like, you're clearly a woman. I don't think Felix is a common...
look like a Felix? I don't...
Right. Yeah. He's also a god. I'm pretty sure he knows that you're lying.
Yeah.
And she tells him about how Zeus made her unlovable as a baby. And then Hades is just like, okay, you can go now. And I'm just like, what in the actual fuck has happened?
Right. You're like, this is an interesting first chapter. Okay. What?
I am intrigued.
Yes, very much.
What is going on? What do you mean he just let you go? But I mean, he might kill you later?
Yeah, I was like, I am suspicious of all this. So Lyra then decides to head back to the thieves' den. Instead of attending the opening ceremony for the Crucible, she's like, I want to avoid like running into Chance or Boone. Plus, she honestly doesn't care about who becomes the ruler of the Olympian gods. She's like, I don't give a shit. Like, all the other mortals really love like all the fanfare and everything, but she's like, I don't care. You know, not in the least. So on her way back to the den, she runs into Boone, who offers to go with her. And she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, it's clear he heard what Chance had said about her having a crush on him. So she's freaking out and being like, oh my God, he knows. What's he going to do? Is he going to say something? Does he feel the same way? No way. Of course he doesn't feel the same way. A lot of stuff going on internally. So during their walk back to the den, they watch all the various gods choose their competitors for the challenge. And it's obvious that the champions don't have any idea they're being picked beforehand. Because it's like 1 minute they are just like standing there in the crowd, and the next, poof, they're on stage or something like that.
Can you imagine like living your life one day and then all of a sudden like you start disappearing?
You get transformed somewhere else and you're like, what the hell?
All these people are staring at you. Congratulations, you've been selected. You may die soon.
You're like, lucky
Thank
me.
you.
It's like literally as if it was Hunger Games, but you're just like getting plopped up out of like thin air and like being told that you need to compete in these games now. Cool. So most surprisingly now, Hades shows up to select a competitor, which again is very unusual because he's never done it before. Like ever. All the other gods do, not him. And guess who he selects? Lyra. And she's like, what the hell is happening? Like looking at her hands, and like she starts to like disappear, and she's right next to Boone, and he's just like, "Uh-oh, I think you got picked." And she's like, "Oh no." And she reappears and she's standing right next to Hades, and she is less than thrilled about this. You know, like, "Oh, I just saw you in your brother's temple and you said you were gonna kill me later, so great."
I guess it's
This
later.
guess it's like I'm fucked, I guess. So, but here's the thing. The other gods are obviously pissed about this because they didn't want Hades to compete in general, but especially his brother Zeus. He's like really upset about this. But none of the gods could technically do anything about it because they can't technically stop him. So we'll talk then about the various ways that they do try to hamper Lyra's chances throughout the Crucible because they're like, well, maybe we just make her not win. We'll see. So then after he picks Lyra, Hades tells her that this is important to him. But he won't share exactly why. Like, very mysterious about this. In fact, he keeps literally the real reason that he wants to compete a secret throughout most of the entire book. Like, you have no idea. And the only thing he ever tells her is that until the end of the Crucible, you are mine.
I
And you're
lost
like,
it. I was like,
oh,
you're mine. Like,
oh,
I was like, yes, yes, Shadow
yeah,
Daddy.
you can own me. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
okay with us.
He's like, you are mine, and we need to present a united front. And then he also promises to remove her curse if she wins. So she's like, okay, I guess that's what's in it for me. So let's do this damn thing.
Like, do I have a choice? No.
I don't have choice now.
Great. So let's discuss what we know about the Crucible so far. It occurs every 100 years and determines the king of the gods. Each god selects one champion to compete on their behalf, and this ensures the Anaxian Wars never happen again, which are apparently really horrible, but we don't get told more information. I have questions. You can't tell me things are bad and then not tell me why. The winning champion gets to request a boon from the gods, and when I heard boon, I thought, you got boon. And I was like, yes, please.
Benson Boone.
Also, yes, please.
I wouldn't hate a Benson Boone.
The last winner, Matthias, has lived on Olympus for the last 100 years with his family, and no one kind of knew where he disappeared to after he won. And he's, from what I take it, hasn't aged or anything. And then his homeland in the overworld, which is kind of like the mortal world, has been blessed. And his son has been selected to be a champion in this year's Crucible, which he is less than thrilled about. His son is less than thrilled. His father is like, you will win or die.
Like,
Great. Oh. The gods and goddesses are divided into 4 groups by virtue: strength, courage, mind, and heart. Hades is not a part of any of those 4. Not great for Hades nor Lyra. And then each god has devised a contest for the champions to compete in, except for Hades, because no one knew he was participating until today. I'm like, also not great for Lyra. And the champion who wins the most of the 12 labors then will win overall. Champions can die in the competition, and you can win if you're the last champion standing because all of the others have died. And I was like, hold please. So if I just kill all the other champions, I can win? And you're telling them that? Great. Cool.
giving very big, like, Hunger Games vibes.
Very much. Champions can bring any mortal tools that they can carry along with any boons they won throughout the Crucible into those challenges. And the gods and goddesses can help coach their champions, but they can't help or interfere with any of them. And I'm like, define help or interfere. When you say interfere, what kind of line are we talking? Right? Because we know from the Blood and Ash world, there are some victors and some fates that like to do a lot of fucking around with interfering. But it's not technically
It's in the gray.
interfering. It's the gray area. We like our men morally gray, but I don't know about this interfering. The Damians will be judges and rule keepers of the labors with the final determination of the winner. And the champions can technically choose not to play. And I was like, okay, but something worse will likely happen to them. Oh,
That doesn't
great.
sound good.
Doesn't sound good. Like Hades gives the example. Well, like the last person who chose to do that, they selected her daughter instead. And I'm like, oh. But I'm like, who else would they select for Lyra? She has no one else.
Yeah, I would assume they would probably select like Boone then.
Right.
But still,
Which
she's
is-
like,
Fuck.
Fuck.
Great.
Yeah. She's not happy about this. So basically, she's stuck. So now for the first challenge, each champion has the opportunity to win the challenge and then be awarded 2 gifts by their respective god or goddess. So if they don't reach the Olympus like temple within an hour, then they forfeit the gifts. And the challenge is to then find the artifact that is tied specifically to their respective god or goddess that is literally an entire room filled with items. It's like, okay, now find the one that's for you. And you're like, there's hundreds, thousands of them. How am I supposed to find it? So
I thought it
Lyra,
was like a room from like hoarders. Like that's how I
probably.
pictured it.
Yes, absolutely. They're just like going around like looking like, this like might be mine. You're like, nope, nope, nope. And so Lyra finally figures out that the items have an icon on the bottom of them because she saw somebody else doing that. And she lifts it up and can see like, oh, like this aligns to, Zeus. Like it's got like a lightning bolt or something. And so she finds an item that is clearly for a champion for Artemis and gives it to them and says, hey, this is yours. Like, look for your symbol at the bottom. And we learned that that's technically not against the rules for a champion to help out each other. So they give it a go. However, Ares does not love this and smashes that artifact that is tied to Hades, making it seem like it's practically impossible for Lyra to win at this point. So the Daemons then take Ares away to punish him for interfering, because that was interfering.
Yes.
So it's not against the rules for her to help somebody else, but he is not allowed to fuck things up for her on purpose. Not cool. And that's when Hades tells Lyra, there's never only one way to win. And that's technically not interfering either. It's just stating something like, there's no more than one way. It's okay. So she ends up finding this like crypticode on the bottom of some of the items that actually turn out to be directions to how to get to where she needs to go. So she's basically figured out like, I don't need to find my artifact. Well, also because my artifact is now destroyed. Thanks, Ares. It's like, but technically what they had said was like, you need to get to your god in the temple. So she's like, I can run to the temple and make it in time, hopefully. So she's literally like running through this temple, like out of breath, slipping, falling, like diving, barely makes it to Hades before the time runs out. But she makes it. Thank God. And the first gift that she receives from Hades are 4 little animals that are hidden tattoos basically on her arm. So she gets a blue owl, a green panther, a purple fox, and a red tarantula, and then a silver butterfly. The butterfly tends to be more symbolic for Hades, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So these apparently haven't left Hades' arms since his mother gave them to him. And they are now like literally like transferred over. Like I've got dragons, So it's like she has these little tiny ones, but like then they can hide inside of her arm. And she can basically just like awaken them and then they only listen to her and like do her bidding. So that's kind of cool. They can basically like bring her different items. They can find her information. They can scout routes. They can overhear conversations. They can spy. Mm-hmm. Each animal basically has a different talent that Lyra can now use. So cool.
So that's a good gift.
It's a really good gift.
And then he's like, for my second gift, I will kiss you. And I was like, hold please.
Whoa. Okay.
I mean, you got an ego, Hades, if you think like kissing me is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
But it will mark her as his. And I was like, oh, sweet God. Literally.
Sweet God.
I know. I was just like, oh, I'm already in love with you. It also will give her a safe passage through the underworld. And I was like, do we want that? Is that in case I die?
Are you saying I'm going to die? What?
Right?
Why would I need safe passage? Oh, boy.
Right. And she can return to the overworld and not be trapped down there. And I'm like, well, I guess that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
But what's interesting is it's also Lyra's first kiss.
Yes.
Which I was like, which is kind of like cool and odd at the same time, because I'm like, your first kiss is from the god of death. That's an interesting bar to set. Yeah. But she's very interested in getting it. Because like she feels this like interesting like pull and attraction to Hades. And she's like, I should not want this. And I'm like, it's okay, girl. We all do. None of us should want the bad boy, but we do. And they're both like impacted by the kiss. And Hades makes this vague comment about how he wondered. And then I was like, are you fated mates? And I was like, you have to be, right? Like because there's so many like little breadcrumbs throughout this. Also, every other champion received their two gifts. I doubt any of them were kisses besides hers. Probably not. Which is the first time it's happened in 2 millennia, which I guess is a big deal. And then we find out the champions get to live with their patron in Olympus when they're not in labor. And she's like, "Excuse me, what? I have to live. I have to live with him, the god of death."
It's like, I didn't sign up
Right,
for any of this, but I especially do not sign up for that part.
right.
What the
I would
fuck?
like to be excused from this narrative. Like, I do not want to be here.
Can I please leave? Please. Thank you. But surprisingly, Hades is actually a very good host and has also secretly given Lyra another gift. So when he like got her changed for her clothes to like basically be presented like during that little like mini like labor they kind of did, he actually gave her a tiara and put it on her head before the crucible began. So that actually included Persephone's pearls inside of them, which Hades confirms is accurate, but can't explain how they can help her technically. He's like, yes, those are her pearls, but I
That's all I
can't tell
can
you what they
say.
do. That's all I can
I'm
say.
like,
Cryptic, cryptic.
I was like, okay, Kieran,
And I
Draken.
was like, do you know Kieran? Do you know Drakens? Apparently. But there's an indication that the story that mortals know about Persephone isn't 100% accurate. So Lyra's like not really picking up too much on this fact at this point in the book. She's like, okay, well, I guess I'll
Thank
die if I
you.
touch these pearls. I don't know. Sure. And it's funny because she was like, why did you give me a tiara? This is so dumb. And he's like, I thought girls like tiaras. But clearly he hadn't
We
been with
do.
her. We do like tiaras, yes. So during that first night, Lyra wakes up to find Boone in her room. And
And I
I'm
was just
like,
like, is this going to be a love triangle? Like, I was like,
mm, yes, yes. So he snuck into Hades' house, which I'm like, dude, brave. You got some balls on you.
ballsy.
Very ballsy. And he brings Lyra a few gifts of his own. So that includes a tactile vest that apparently like all the thieves use all the time. And he's added a couple of extra tools to it. He also brought Lyra's relic of an axe that she already owned. He's like, you forgot this. I'm going to bring this to you. And then he brought her a lock picking kit. And he even gave her his own relic, which is dragon teeth. Now, apparently, if you bury them in the ground, they will grow into a bone soldier. And if you are planted in the ground, no, if they're planted in the ground, they become a bone soldier. They just got to be, planted. You're good. So it's important to note that Lyra doesn't fully understand why she's getting these relics since she's not an actual thief. Like she was only made it to a clerk. So she's like, I don't understand why you're giving these to me. But Boone makes it clear that he doesn't hate Lyra and that before he leaves, he just wanted to give Lyra something to look forward to. And you're like, ooh.
See, I think at this point she's like, oh, could he like me? I've got to
Yeah.
win. And I'm just like, girl, no, he's just like, doesn't want you to die.
Yeah, he's like, he's nice. He's looking out for you. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And I was also like, this axe that you have, there is more to it. Like, I knew there was something, like, it showed up. You can't lose it. Tell me more about
Yeah.
it.
She can't get rid of this thing. She's tried.
No. So the next morning, we get like continued banter between Hades and Lyra. Like, she has a lot of balls on her because she has zero filter to the god of death. And
Mm-hmm.
there is some definite sexual tension. Like, Hades likes to make lots of comments that I'm just like, if you're gonna say it, you gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is
Please.
like I think that's one of the things I loved about this book is there is so much sexual tension between them for so long that we are like by the time they really get to like spice, we have been dying for it because we know it's going to be incredibly hot. And then Lyra's like also like, God, all these bruises hurt. And Hades like, excuse me, you're injured? And I'm like, did you not see her fall?
Yeah, it's like, dude, she literally was tripping over herself and like, hitting her face first into the ground to get to you.
Correct.
Yes,
Like, were
she's
you not
hurt.
there?
She's mortal. Come on.
Right. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he just was like,
Yeah,
well, I mean, I would have healed.
you're fine. He's like, oh. Because again, he's never
Oh,
done this before. He's never
that's
participated. He
true.
doesn't know what happens.
So he's like, calls for, are we saying, ask, how are we going to do this one?
Asclepius?
Asclepius. He calls for like the magical healing
Oh,
doctor.
yeah. Doctor.
Doctor. So apparently he can heal champions until the first labor starts. And once that
Yes.
happens, magical healing is only reserved for the person who wins the labor and
Hmm.
anyone who shares that champion's virtue. And I was like, if you win, do you need to be healed? Number one. Also,
Yeah.
Lyra doesn't have a virtue.
It's
That
survival.
sucks. It's
That's her
survival, right?
virtue.
Like, don't die.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm screwed. No one's on my team. Great.
Great. Oh, and Hades like, by the way, who was the man in your room? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Of course he knew.
oh, you knew that. And I was like, and you're jealous? Oh, let me get this straight. You're already calling her mine. You're a shadow daddy. You're the god of death. People fear you, and you're possessive slash jealous.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Right? But
Can we
before the
not slow burn? Can we please just like light this shit on fire and go? Thank you.
yeah, right?
Mhm.
So before that first labor starts, Hades tells Lyra to watch her back and use her gifts only if she must, and let other champions take risks. And I was like, well, count down until Lyra breaks every single one of these suggestions. She's doing none of these things.
No. She doesn't want to be there. So I'm
She
like,
doesn't want to. Well, and I'm just like, and I think at this point, like prior to this, I felt like she was like a rule follower in the Order of the Thieves, right? Like she did what she was supposed to. She is now entered the Crucible and her zero fucks era. She
yes.
gives, like, her sole job is to not die.
Hmm.
She's going to do whatever it takes. And then he gives her a little pep talk. He's like, you can do this. I picked you for a reason because you're mine. And I'm like, that's not a reason.
It's not a reason.
That's like,
Damn it.
great. Hey, don't die. You'll be fine. How do you know? I just know.
Cool.
Great.
Great. Good pep talk.
And then I was like, and I'm already falling for you.
Yeah. At the same time, you're like, shit.
Shit. I like him. I know. I
like him.
really thought I was gonna like Boone. I mean, don't get me wrong. Boone's still wonderful, but I was just like, I'm Team Hades
I know.
all the way.
I was like, I like you, Boone, but I like Hades more.
Yes.
Unless we can do a triangle, that'd be fun.
Which if is this a white shoes?
Right?
It's
Can,
not.
can it be?
Could it be?
No. But you never know. So very quickly, Lyra is transported to the first challenge, where she's tied to a wooden post in the water along with all the other champions. At first, I'm like, oh, she's tied up. I'm like, okay, this is fun. This is good. And it's like, oh wait, this is not as sexy as it was gonna
No.
be. No. We're all like about to start getting like drowned by all this water because it's fucking Poseidon's turn. And then Poseidon like literally waltzes in on water, literally, making a grand entrance, and tells them all that being tied to a post isn't their biggest challenge. Cool, great. So he's like, good luck, everyone. And you're like, fuck me. And Lyra's like, okay, well, I gotta get out of this water. How can I get up this pole? So she starts like trying to figure all that out and shouts out to everybody else how she did it because she's also like, fuck this. I'm gonna help everyone. Like, fuck your rules. Even though most of these people hate her, she's like, I'm gonna help you anyway. And then she's able to cut herself free thanks to some of the stuff that she's wearing, her tactical suit stuff. And she offers to come help cut down some of the other champions, but some of them don't believe that she actually is like good intention. They're like, no, you're just gonna kill me. And she's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that asshole. And she does as she promises. Like, she's like, I'm gonna help you. She, another champion, Isabel, then offers to help Lyra out too. But then this asshole Dex steals Lyra's axe from her. I'm like, you motherfucker. She's like, I just helped you. Why the hell would you do this? And he's like, it's all for one. And if that's not bad enough, once the water has kind of receded a little bit, there's these little like eggs that appear. And the eggs start hatching. And creepy fucking creatures start popping out of it and attacking them. And that immediately puts anybody who is still like, hanging there endangered, like literally bait.
Oh.
And that is Isabella and Zai. They're in danger now. So Lyra then has to try and use 3 of her little dragon teeth. She quickly like runs down to the bottom, buries them. Bone soldiers pop up and kill the sea monsters. But unfortunately, Isabel ends up dying because she got bitten by one of the sea monsters, and literally like the infection like takes place immediately. Like the black like stuff in her veins like goes up to her and just like suffocates her and kills her. And Lyra is just sitting there, like holding her hand as she dies. And the challenge is over. And the winner ended up being Diego. But they're all just like, we can't cheer for you or clap for you because we
Like
just saw someone die. Like,
like
what the
scream to
fuck?
death.
Yeah, like screamed a very painful, horrible death. And you're like, fuck. And he's just like, thanks so much for my win. I won like the rings of Gigas or something, which grants him the power of invisibility. It's like, cool. Good for you, buddy. But someone died, so fuck off.
Right? And I was like, we're killing people on challenge one?
Fuck.
I know. I
It's
was like,
bad.
how many labors are there again? There's 12? How many people are there?
Yeah, man. It
Ugh.
kind of actually reminds me a bit of Phantasma. I know we haven't covered that yet, but there's like challenges in it too, and people die, and you're like, what? And it's gruesome. So I was like, oh,
I didn't
yikes.
cry. I didn't know Isabel well enough to cry.
I did not know her well enough to cry, but I felt bad. I
No.
was like,
I
oh,
felt bad. I
that
was like, this is not great for her or anyone
same.
else.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Hades is pissed that Lyra used her dragon teeth and had the axe because, spoiler alert, the axe is a matched pair. And Hades is like, I thought I lost that one 10 years ago. And I'm like, hold please, you have the other one?
Damn. If that's not fated
Fated
mates.
mates? Then
Hmm.
what is?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm worried the other gods will think you're cheating because you have two relics that I didn't give you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, fair point.
True.
And he also points out that two other champions used their gifts today. One did it to survive and the other to win. And he's like, Lyra, you used yours to save people. And I'm like, doesn't that make her good? And he's like,
Yeah.
disappointed.
He's so
So disappointed.
disappointed. He's like, you
But
should have
then,
done it to survive and to win, not to help.
right.
It's like,
But then she breaks down and starts crying. And weirdly, Hades is like a source of comfort. Did not expect that. He
mm-mm.
offers to take care of Isabel in the underworld. He's like, if that'll help. And it's just not what I expected.
Yeah.
And Lyra then assumes he's only doing it because he needs her to win. And he couldn't possibly have any feelings for her because of this curse. However, she's like, well, yeah, I'll take you up on the offer to make Isabel more comfortable. And then there's this really interesting conversation between them about how Hades sees mortals differently from other gods because they all come to him in the end and are with him for eternity. And I was like, that's a really good point. And then he mentions that he thought Lyra was strong enough to survive the Crucible and didn't realize she had such a soft heart under a tough shell. And I was like, does that mean you don't think she'll survive now?
Yeah. It's like, are you regretting your choice?
Like what?
Like, I'm not sure this is supposed to be a compliment or not.
I know I was like, how are we supposed to take this? I thought you were strong and would survive, and now I'm like, you're a softie, and are you unsure now? Should I be
Yes.
worried? I was already worried, Hades.
Am I already screwed over even more than I already was? Fuck.
Great.
Cool, 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 cool. So now we're back in Olympics at Hades' home. And he makes it clear that she's not allowed to leave. And he needs to just always be by her if she does leave the house. Because he's like, it's not safe for you out there. Like, don't go. But Lyra's like, fuck
He's
that. I
not
need to find.
wrong.
He's really not wrong. No. But she's like, I need to find allies that can help me during this crucible. And he's like, I don't think that's possible. He's like, people don't like me. Like, they're not going to help you because they don't like me. But he does eventually like acquiesce and agree that she can leave the house if she has her axe with her and the pearls with her at all times. But again, like doesn't really like reiterate everything. But then he disappears. He goes down to the underworld. He's like, I got something I gotta go do. And you're like, okay, bye. See ya. So she steps out the front door and looks for allies, and she runs into Dex, the asshole who literally stole her axe from her and was like trying to hurt her and kill her. And he's looking very murderous, of course. And Aphrodite shows up and uses her powers to control him. And it doesn't have any effect on Lyra because Hades warned her, like, whenever Aphrodite says, don't you wish, like, cover your ears. And so she does that, and Aphrodite's like, smart girl. Mm-hmm. And she then offers to take away Lyra's pain from Isabel's death, but Lyra refuses the offer because she's just like, I don't want to forget this. Like, I want to remember it. And Aphrodite suggests that Lyra go to one of the temples to pray and honor Isabel. Again, kind of now making me wonder, I'm like, Aphrodite, are you trying to help Lyra? Are you trying to help her find an ally? Because that kind of coincidentally ends up happening.
Yeah.
But Aphrodite does warn Lyra that nothing is as it seems with Hades. And when he wants something, he can be the most ruthless of them all. So you're like, okay.
I'm like, is that supposed to turn us off? Because it just turned me on.
I know, I'm like, is this
Like,
a sexy warning or like a fearful warning? But like, I'm not getting the danger vibe. I'm getting the oh yes vibe.
I know even if I got the danger vibe, I'd probably still be here for it.
Right. And also it's Aphrodite talking to you. So it's like, well, the goddess of
Well, you don't
love.
know.
Mm.
So when Lyra does go toward the temples, she sees Zai in the temple of Hermes and goes to talk to him. This is when we learn that Zai blames himself for Isabel's death, and he's just an overall sweet guy. And then Zai's father shows up, and he's the super, super asshole. So Lyra hides when Zai's father's there, and he confronts him about wasting energy trying to help Isabel and how he wished Hermes would have picked one of Zai's brothers instead. And I was so rude. And then Zai apparently followed his father's instructions by not using his gifts or letting Lyra help him in the challenge. It's like, I did what you told me to, and look what happened. So when he's standing up to his father, then his father hits him, and I'm like, motherfucker, not okay. So then he leaves, and Lyra attempts to create an alliance with Zai. And then Poseidon shows up because he's not pleased because Isabel died. Isabel was his competitor. And somehow that's Lyra's fault.
Yeah.
And like, the math is not mathing Poseidon.
Yeah.
Because like Lyra was there.
It's like you fucked up. You chose wrong, or also like your champion, you didn't give her good enough gifts. And I'm just like, it's not Lyra's fault, basically.
No.
So
But also like
up.
maybe you shouldn't have created nightmare creatures that hatched from eggs that would kill you if they bit you.
Yeah.
And then Poseidon's like, oh, FYI, all the other champions are plotting against you. They'll use you to get through a challenge and then turn on you. And then Poseidon threatens to kill Lyra because he can't win the Crucible, assuming like Hades, and he doesn't want his brother to have a chance to either. And I was like, cool. So now we've angered gods. And then out of nowhere, fucking Hades shows up and he's pissed that Poseidon has threatened to touch what belongs to him. And I'm like, God damn it, I love you. And then Hades sees the cut in Lyra's neck from Poseidon, and he makes it clear he'll protect what's his, and he's about to take all of his anger out on Poseidon until Lyra stops him. And then they're like magically transported back to Hades' house, and then they're kissing again until he says stops it and says fuck and disappears. And I'm like, excuse me, what the fuck just happened? You don't kiss me, then leave?
No. Like literally almost like mid kiss, I'm just like, oh.
He's like, fuck,
Where did
and then
you
he's
go?
like, bye.
She's like,
I'm like,
that was my second kiss. I want more.
also, you're being like super possessive jealousy, and I liked it.
I know. But then he disappeared on me, and I don't like that.
I don't like that.
It's not okay.
Where do you keep going, Hades?
Right? Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Like, look under the pillow. Like, where did you go? Stop it.
He does. We'll talk about this in theories because he does disappear a lot.
Does. Really does. I mean, it's a whole other term of ghosting, you know?
Yes.
Godding? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he is ghosting to go with the ghosts, I guess.
Oh, okay. So he's ghosting. God ghost? Ghost god?
God ghost.
I'll figure that one out. Okay. So the next day, it is time for the second labor, which is Hermes' labor. And originally you're like, okay, this should be good for Lyra because Hermes is like the king of thieves. And, you know, she kind of like was in that world. And Hades is trying to wake up Lyra, being like, you need to get dressed fast. But it does not work. So she starts to disappear already. And she's still in her pajamas. And doesn't have any of her tools or any of her relics with her. And so here's actually where I thought where Hermes, he's, you know, the god of thieves messaging. He literally steals away their time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, ooh, naughty boy. And so the challenge starts then with each champion on a tiny ledge in the sky. No, thank you.
No.
With glass walls on 3 sides so that they don't get to touch the platform. They're like literally just like on this little ledge and like can't go anywhere. So this challenge requires them to solve a riddle, and they only get 3 questions to solve it. And each time a champion asks a question, everyone else will lose an inch from their plank. But when you ask a question, you will get 6 inches added to your plank. However, Once you ask the third question, you have 5 minutes to answer, or your plank disappears completely. Like, so you basically need to figure out this riddle very quickly. And if you guess but you're wrong, then you lose the original inches that you started with. So you're screwed. So be smart. And if you're the first one to answer correctly, then you will then win his winged sandals, and you get to use those for the duration of the crucible, and you just fly off the mountain. I'm like, okay, that sounds great. But if you're one of the remaining surviving champions, then you're gonna have to climb all the way down in your pajamas.
No,
Because
no
you
thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
like, that sucks. So
This also felt like a very complicated math problem when I was reading it. I was like,
yeah,
how
so,
many
okay,
people are there?
you have how many inches, and you lose this one.
Right. And I was like,
Yeah.
how long until I die?
Yeah, like, oh fuck. And I was like, can I just jump off now and just get it over with? Like, but no. So the questions that you get to ask are answered by the three fates. So one of these fates will speak lies, one of them will speak the truth, and one of them will go either way. So you have to literally figure out who is who, like who's the truth teller, who's the liar, and who's like the in between. And you get 3 questions to figure it out. What could go wrong? So Lyra is like, fuck, 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 fuck. What can I do? She's like, oh, I have my tattoos. So she awakens her little owl tattoo. She's like, hey, fly over to Zai and ask him a question about if he wants to like work together and like see if we can like figure this riddle out, and then maybe he'll fly me down the mountain if he wins, you know, because she's like, I'm not going to win this thing. Like, this is not going to happen. And so the owl flies over there, like talks to Zai, and Zai agrees. And he ends up winning the challenge. And then as soon as like Lyra like feels like he like deserted her, she's like, oh my God, he's not coming back for me. He shows up. Thank God. And he takes Lyra down the mountain with him. And we also do learn that Amir fell from his ledge, but he's alive. And he's like making his way down. So everyone has survived, and everyone else has started climbing down the mountain. But Lyra has made an ally. So that's good.
Yes. So after the challenge, Zai suggests they may up Lyra talk strategy and about other possible allies, which Lyra agrees to do. Unfortunately, Hades is not thrilled about her new alliance because Zai is the runt of the champions. And Lyra, how dare she not bother discussing this alliance with Hades? I'm like, well, because you're so easy to talk to.
Right. And you're always available. You're not just disappearing
Correct.
everywhere.
And you never just kiss me and then leave.
Rude.
He also mentions how Boone and now Zai have allegedly fallen at Lyra's feet. So perhaps her curse isn't what she thinks. And I'm like, well, you sound very jealous again. And I also agree with you that her curse is not what she thinks.
I also just don't believe that this curse applies to other gods.
It's possible.
I think it only applies to mortals, if that, you know.
If that. Hades also doesn't think that Lyra should trust Zai, probably because Hades, you have long-term trust issues, not because Zai has done legitimately anything else.
Yeah.
He also mentions that Dex is getting information about the laborers early and how other champions didn't love seeing Zai fly away with Lyra. Well,
ooh, yeah, good point.
I mean,
oops.
Should have been nicer to me. Then Sybaris shows up, and you know how much we love dogs. So I was like, yay, puppy.
Yeah.
And
puppy.
He can speak to Lyra, and he already adores her, which is unique because usually he only speaks to Hades or Sharon. And then unfortunately, it's also meant that Hades is needed. I'm like, where are you going? Why are there so many problems in the underworld? Is that where you're going?
I'm assuming so, but yeah, you're like, what the fuck?
This is the third time he's like disappeared.
Yeah, so rude. So then Lyra goes to meet Zai, and he is super paranoid about someone seeing them together, and decides to use his winged sandals to fly them up to the temple grounds, where there's like a really beautiful, like multicolored, like waterfall, like for Zeus, for Poseidon, and Hades, and no powers apparently are allowed to work up there. So they're like, okay, like we should be safe. We should be good. Like, we're good. And then Zai shares that Dex had him kicked out of the house for working with Lyra. So Zai's like, I'm homeless. Help me. And apparently Rima isn't with Dex, but she's against Lyra. So she's just like not a fan of Zai's either. They're like, okay, so she's out. And in fact, Rima apparently is terrified at the idea of Hades becoming the king of the gods, which It's kind of like a statement that we probably honestly overlooked in the first read until you realize the meaning of it later in the book that, like, oh, he can be king of the gods. And then once we find out what Rima's talent is, you're like, oh,
She's
this
done it
makes
all
more
this time.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she got the gift of foresight. So she's like, she knows, she can see something bad happening, which you don't find out till later. And you're just like, oh shit, that makes
Oh,
sense. This
yeah.
makes sense now. Don't blame you. I don't blame you, girl. So then there's also Nev and Day, who are both working with Dex, so they're out. Zai suggests they try to ally with one of the courage champions, but they don't get too much further in that discussion because guess who appears? It's Dex and Nev and Day. And you're like, fuck. And also Samuel. And you're like, Samuel, I thought you were a friend. Like, rude. But no. So that means that the mind and strength virtues are working together. So they've allied. So,
Great.
again, fuck, we're screwed. So Dex is very, very, very violent all the time. And Lyra's like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Let's jump off this cliff. And hopefully your winged sandals will start working like once we've like left the premises and magic will work again. And he's like, well, that's quite a gamble. And she's like, got anything else to suggest? And he's like, nope, let's jump. So they go and he catches her, but she ends up falling into Hades' waterfall and literally gets swept down into the underworld. And you're like, well, that's not how this was supposed to go.
That's not great.
That's not good. Mm-mm.
So after almost dying, Cerberus finds her and is shocked because no one should survive that except a demigod. And I was like, okay, we've got questions. What does that mean? Is it solely tied to the kiss that Hades gave her? Is this something more than we don't know? I'm leaning towards that one.
Yeah.
We also learn that Hades' mark on Lyra is how Cerberus found her because it alerts him every time she enters the underworld. It's kind of like, like find my iPhone, find my Lyra.
Find my Lyra. There's an air tag.
Yes. Beep, beep, beep.
A kiss tag.
Oh, that's sweet.
Hmm.
But he can't take her to Olympus, but he does take her to another part of the underworld because Sharon wants to meet her. And I'm like, great, the person who ferries souls.
Cool.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
He quickly tells Lyra that Persephone's pomegranate seeds will take her anywhere she wants to go. She only has to picture the destination in her mind, and they should be only used if she has no other options, because she will be punished if the Damians discover she has them. But Hades couldn't tell her this because it would be seen as interfering. But Sharon's not restricted to that because he's not a god. He's like, so I can tell you whatever I want. And I'm like, great.
There's a loophole.
There's a loophole, but could you have also, perhaps have reiterated how I should only use them if I have no other options because the punishment will be very, very bad? Because when I first read this, I was like, oh yeah, sure. It's like what Hades said, don't use them. Like, unless I have to. Not like, I will die if I use them potentially.
Right, yeah.
And then he also shares that Hades values loyalty above all else and doesn't trust easily. And I'm like, well, that checks out. And then Hades shows up, demanding to know if Lyra is hurt, because Zai came to tell him what happened. And I'm like, oh, I did not expect that. And Hades also acknowledges Zai's loyalty to Lyra and doesn't fight it when Lyra's like, Zai's coming to live with us. He's like, okay. And I'm
he's like, fine,
I'll allow it.
He wasn't thrilled about it, but he's like, he did save your life, I guess.
I feel like he's like, well, he can't go back to where he was.
True. So then it's time for the third labor, and the champions are in a massive cave with like terrible humidity. So let's hope nobody has curly hair because you're gone.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, my hair would be such a shit show.
Oh, it'd be terrible. I'm thinking of the mosquitoes too. I'm like, this sounds like hell. Are we sure we're not in the underworld? Because, no, we're just in a lovely place called the Lost Cave. And this task is simple, supposedly. Carry the most vodka to the end of the cave, and you can all work together. The winner will then be the unending, will get the unending cup of plenty. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
This doesn't seem too hard. Just carry some vodka from one place to the other. No worries. And you got the break of day to finish. And beware the night is the only warning that they get. So fucking Dex starts out by telling all the champions that Hades can't be the king of the gods. And we need to basically just like make sure he doesn't win. And then there's mention of Rima saying something to the champions about Lyra being dangerous. And that Day starts to say more of like Rima, like he's like, but Rima's like, shush, stop it. Stop it. Don't say anything else. We're like, okay, Rima, what did your vision tell you?
And who have you
And
told?
and who have you told? Yes.
Yeah.
And what's going on? So multiple champions now are accusing Lyra and Hades of cheating at this point, and you're like, great. Dex announces that everyone should side with him and take Lyra out of the equation. Because again, we can kill her or make her too injured to compete, and then she can't win, and the Hades can't win. You're like, fuck, 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 fuck. This is not good.
And then Lyra's like, well, I will give everyone a tip about Aphrodite's labor if you don't hurt me or any other champion during this labor. You don't have to ally with me, but you just can't hurt people, which seems like a really low bar.
Yeah, right? It's like, okay, that's easy. We can
That
do
should
this,
be
right?
easy. Everyone should say yes.
Yeah.
But some people go with Dax while others decide to go out alone. Mickey?
I called her
Mikey? Mikey?
Mikey?
Amir and Trinka.
Trinica?
Trinica. Trinica. Trinka. I don't know why I called her Trinka. Trinica choose to work with Zai and Lyra, at least for this challenge. They're like very clear. Like, I mean, we're not with you, but we're with you right now.
Yeah, we'll work together on this.
Correct. But that does
And
not
then go
mean
our
we're
separate
friends.
ways. Yeah, exactly. We're not friends.
So very quickly, Mikey stops Lyra from touching poison ivy because we learned her gift was knowledge about plants from Dionysus, indicating that most of the gods probably have given their champions gifts that would help them in their respective challenge. Problem again for Lyra because Hades didn't get to create a challenge.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there is poison ivy everywhere except for the ceilings and the walls, and it causes painful blisters when you touch it. And like,
very painful.
huh. But they learn when some vodka breaks and splashes that it actually heals the blisters, which is why this is a challenge testing their hearts. Will they use the vodka to heal their teammates or let people suffer and be able to carry more and win? So Lyra falls into the poison ivy and the effects are killing her. So Zai has to use his EpiPen on her to save his life. He also has horrible allergies. And I'm like, so now he doesn't have an EpiPen. Oh, and the poison ivy vines, they're alive. And they're coming after them. And they grab Mikey, and Zai, using his winged sandals, is able to get her back. But she's struggling. They have to pour like a ton of vodka on her. Meanwhile, like somewhere else in the cave, Dex's team is screaming. And Lyra's like, they must not know about the vodka. So she takes off to help them, pours vodka on them. But then when she gets back, Mikey isn't better. Her team has used all of their vodka. And Lyra's like, I'm going to have to use the pearls to take her out of here to Zai's room where he has the other EpiPen. Which is what she does. And it does save her life. Big problem. As soon as like that happens, Hades like shows up, takes Lyra to the underworld because the Damians are after her since she used the pearls. As Sharon like warned her. Yes, he technically warned her. He was not clear enough with the consequences of said action. And
it's very vague. Very
vague. I just was like, is that like you're telling me just like you shouldn't do this? Not like real bad shit will happen. So then Hades kisses her again and says he shouldn't have brought her there. And I'm like, and he won't let them take her away. And I'm like, no, you should not have signed her up for this. She did not want to participate. And then the Damians show up and Hades offers to take Lyra's place instead. And then they take him away. And I'm like, that was like really sweet and romantic.
So why?
Also, why?
Place? You don't love me. Do you love me?
You can't love me.
You
can't even like me.
Yeah.
Like, am I a plaything for you? I mean,
I would love to
I'm not saying I'd be against that.
Please play with me more. I would love it. Thank you. But you don't even do that. You kiss me and then diss me. Like,
you're like, bye. Yeah.
So rude. God ghost. So rude. So Hades is literally gone for days. Like, your message is left on read for many, many days. And it's so rude. And then Charon shares that the Daemons came for Hades once before when Lyra had used the dragon teeth. So she's like, fuck, I didn't realize this was happening. But apparently Hades was able to convince them that like, oh, Lyra already owned them and she brought them with her. So, you know, it's not against the rules. But Hades didn't want Lyra to know about that. And this time the Daemons threatened to kill Lyra for using the pearls. But Hades convinced them that technically no rules were broken and to just give him a lesser punishment in her place. So what they do is they cut his palms with the dagger of Orion which is a very interesting thing to say because at the very beginning of the book, she's talking about Orion and how she has the tattoos of Orion's belt. And it's like, interesting.
Interesting.
Hmm. So for a mortal, getting a cut from the dagger of Orion would pretty much create a wound that would just like never heal. But for a god, he'll heal. He'll be fine. It'll just take a longer time. So it's okay. So Lyra tries then to get Charon to tell her why Hades is participating in the Crucible. Like, why now? After all these years, like, why? But he won't tell her. He won't say anything. However, he does allude to the fact that Hades holds his emotions, his reasons, and actions closer to himself after Persephone. So it's like, okay, what happened? What do you mean? And then Charon drops this other bomb that Hades loved Persephone, but like a friend or a younger sister. And he suggests that Lyra needs to try and trust Hades and give him a little bit more patience. It's like, wait. So his wife was really just like a marriage of convenience, and they're just like friends. He didn't actually
But
like
they weren't
love
actually
her.
married?
Yeah, they weren't actually married. It was just like a arrangement kind of a thing. Like, and he didn't actually love her. So maybe he actually loves me, but that can't be
Like
because
it,
I'm
right?
lovable.
I know.
But he does
But
all the
then,
things to show me that he loves me. So
correct.
what am I supposed to think?
But before she can really like spiral on this, it's time for
Yeah.
another labor. Oh,
Of
Apollo's and
course.
Artemis's. That's four. That's right. Fourth and
Of
fifth
course.
one
Yes.
combined. Because why not punish the champions some more?
Yes.
So for Apollo's labor, it actually is not horrible. You have 2 minutes
Yeah.
in a room to find a trigger that opens the door. It's kind of like an escape room.
Yeah.
You can try as many times as you would like. But if you don't figure it out, then you die. Oh,
Oh,
great.
that's not
It
good.
was like fine until like that part, right? Once you answer the riddle, the door will open to Artemis's labor, and the first person to open the door wins a prize at the end of both labors. Okay?
Okay.
For Artemis's labor, each champion will be given 4 flags and run an obstacle course. As they lose flags, things will start happening to them. And I'm like, great. If all champions don't cross the finish line within an hour after the first person, then the monster at the end kills them. Oh, great. Oh, and they have to touch their patron at the end. And I was like, no big problem since Lyra hasn't seen Hades for days.
Right. And she's literally like, what am I supposed to do? They're like, not our problem. She's like,
Right. I'm like, oh, but no interfering gods.
right, okay.
So everyone struggles with the first challenge except for Lyra, who goes last. And one of the things we've seen her do throughout the book is hum. And so she's just humming as she's thinking, and that causes the door to open.
Because
So,
there's a harp in there.
yeah, and it wants
And
you to play music for it.
yes, the harp doesn't want to be played, it wants to hear music. And she's like,
Correct. Oh. So, like, she kind of like walks through the door. So she gets her flags, and then she's like, oh, I should go back and tell everyone. And I'm like, or you could go ahead.
you could win.
But she doesn't. She goes back and tells
No.
everyone how to solve it if they agree not to harm anyone or hinder any other like champion competing today. And everyone agrees. And all I
She's
thought was,
putting a
Lyra,
lot of trust in
she
these
is.
people. Like,
But I'm also like, Lyra, could we just say if you promise not to harm anyone for or hinder them for all of the labors, not just
oh,
this one? Like all?
yes. Like, just let's work as a team. Let's have no one else die, please.
Correct. She does not say that. Oh, and because it's like one by one, she has to wait for everyone to go through the first labor again before she can get through the door. When she
Yes.
finally does get in, she finds Diego waiting for her because he wants to tell his kids that he played the Crucible with integrity. Which I was like, oh, I like you, Diego. They end up working together to get through some of the obstacle courses. She ends up having to run from a dragon. And I was like, ooh, dragons. She gets burned. We do like dragons.
But this one's not so good.
Not so good. She does make it to Hades, and for winning the first labor, she gets this prize of the Tears of Eos, which allow her to see in the dark past glamour, spells, and magic. And all I thought of was Tears of Eos. I thought of the chapstick and the ball.
Yes, honestly.
I was just like, that's what I thought of, because my oldest daughter, when she was little, that was like her number one Christmas request every year, chapstick and a
Just
ball.
want chapstick balls.
Like, she probably still has like 24 of them in her room.
But they're like crusty now, probably, like on the outside.
No, like it's like always like her number one request. Like she always wants it in her stocking. I don't know why.
She loves him. You love what you love.
So
So, Lyra is burned by the dragon, and it literally takes days for her to get healed. And she's like in a pretty bad shape. And Hades apparently like rarely leaves her side. But when she is finally healed, her arm remains like just covered in scars. So we're like, well, I mean, it's better than not having an arm, right? That's good. But then we get another fun twist where Lyra sees her so-called parents on TV giving an interview about how she wanted to go to the Order of the Thieves when she was 3 years old, and that she
Yeah.
wanted to work off this family debt, and that they loved her so much, and they're so grateful for her. What's crazy about all of this is that Lyra doesn't think it's her actual parents, and obviously, like, the story they're telling is definitely a lie. And it's like, well, yeah, that's clearly not your parents. Like, duh. Like, these are actors, or these people just like
Yeah.
trying to get like money. Like, why are you believing this? And it's like, of course, everything's a lie. And Hades like, I can smite them for you. And she's like, ugh, no, but thanks. Like, thanks for the offer, but please don't smite them. And then Hades talks to Lyra about his love for Persephone and how he loved her, like as like a daughter or as a sister or, best friend. Like, and how like losing her actually was very devastating to everyone because she was so wonderful and everyone did love her. And that's why he is now participating in the Crucible this year. Because if he gets to become the king of the gods, he will get an additional power to then set things right. And like, what do you need to set right?
Tell
What
me more.
happened? It's like, what is Persephone still around? Like, what do you mean? And then we get a little bit more kissing between the two of them until Aphrodite shows up and like literally like dumps cold water over everything, just like major buzzkill. Which Aphrodite immediately is just like, I hate to do this. I really
But
I'm here for you guys to have a good time because that's my jam, but shit's got to be done.
apparently, Aphrodite has waited as long as possible before starting her labor to give Lyra time to heal, but Zeus is forcing her to begin the labor within the next hour.
Mhm.
For this challenge, each champion is strapped to a bed, which I was like feels very Aphrodite coded,
Oh yes,
and has to find someone
fuzzy
special,
handcuffs, right?
right? And has to find someone special to them, the one they love the most. The champions will be put to sleep and sit into their dreams to find the mortal they love the most, who is
Hmm.
trapped in their own dreams. Once you find them, the champion shares their love and brings them back to Olympus to end the labor. If you don't return with them before sundown, they die. Why is that always the option? And then they die.
Why? Why do they have
Why?
to die? That's because the gods just don't care about
They
mortality. They're
really
just like,
don't, except for Hades.
yeah.
So if you do return with them, that person can assist the champion in the next labor. And the first person to win wins this bow and arrows, which creates like a temporary adoration. So like immediately we knew that Lyra was gonna have to find Boone, and it
Yeah.
was gonna be awkward for both of them.
She's like,
So
I kind of love
great.
you. This is awkward. Oh.
So Lyra does find him, and she says, "I love you," and nothing really happens. And then she finally confesses her crush on him and how he's the only person who's shown her kindness, and that wakes him up. And we learn he's also scared of spiders. And then she takes him away. During their trip back, Lyra tells Boone some of what she's experienced in the Crucible so far. And when they get back, Day is still on his bed experiencing a nightmare because Amir's blessing has shown itself, preventing Day from saving the one he loved the most, his grandmother. And so he's just like screaming, crying, nightmare because he knows his grandmother's going to die. Yeah. And I was like, why are we killing grandmothers?
What did I do to you?
She didn't
But
want to be
also,
there either.
but also, it sucks because obviously, like Amir, like didn't choose for the grandma to
No.
die. Like his whole blessing was just like whoever like hurts me in like a certain like labor like goes against me, like revenge for them on the next one.
Yes.
And it just happened to be Day. I'm like, well, Day, you shouldn't have been a dick, number one. But also, like, oh, that sucks that your grandma's died.
Yeah.
But like, I'm hoping she was old.
That's what I was
You
hoping
know?
too.
It's better
I
a
know.
grandma than like your sister or your mom or your
Yeah.
daughter or like,
Ugh.
sorry. But also, aw. So then later we get a dick measuring contest, basically, between Boone and Hades. Mortal versus God of the Dead. Who do you think is going to win? Who has the dick to kill? I don't know. But basically, they all right now have to immediately go to a party, and Aphrodite is supposed to be hosting. but taking the results of this challenge very, very hard because she didn't want anyone to die, of course. But also, like, the maybe you shouldn't make a potential outcome people dying. I mean, you made the rules, Aphrodite. You don't have to do this. But meanwhile, we get to meet each of the loved ones of the competitors, which gives us a little bit more information about their backstories. So Hades decides to flirt now with one of the loved ones, clearly trying to get a rise out of Lyra, because he's likely jealous that Lyra has Boone there with her.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, Hades, you're a grown-ass adult. God,
Right?
you should,
For the love.
chill. Yeah. But later that night, they, go through the whole shabagle party. Boone shows up in Lyra's room and he's like, hey, want to see something I stole? And she's like, what the fuck? Why did you steal something? And he's like, I'm a thief. Duh, that's what I do. And not only did he steal something, he stole the Helm of Darkness from Dex. He's like, you don't like that guy anyway. I'm just going to take this thing. So this then results in Lyra telling Boone about how Zeus actually had cursed her when she was a baby, how she's unlovable, blah, blah, blah. But Boone is just like, you know what? I don't buy it. Like, I've always wanted to partner with you, like, on a like a thieving crime spree, like, but you always had this wall up and, like, told everyone to keep the fuck away and, like, made it very impossible to be your friend. But Lyra's just like, okay, I get it, but, like, you should also stay away from me. And then Lyra's like, Boone, you should give the Helm of Darkness back because, like, the two of us need to give it back, basically, because we're gonna get in trouble. But before we do that, let's try it out. Let's see how it works. So they end up sneaking up on some gods and listening to them. And they're talking about how the Crucible is just absolute chaos this year. It is a fucking shit show because of Hades. And basically, Hades is like, you know what? Grow the fuck up. Like, chill out. And he totally knows that Lyra is right there, even though she's invisible.
So once we get back to Hades' house, Hades makes Boone return the helm while he talks to Lyra. And Hades also knows that Boone kissed Lyra, which does not make him very happy. But, like, the kiss was not romantic.
No, it was very much a friendship kiss.
And then Hades starts kissing her again. And he also claims to want Lyra to be his and no one else's, which Lyra starts to believe until she realizes it's all for show, for Boone. And if Hades really wanted her, then he would kiss her solely for her. And I was like, damn it. Hades. But it's time for another challenge.
Of course.
And it requires the champions to get through multiple levels in the tower, and the best time wins. I'm like, this doesn't sound so bad. Right? Each team has 4 hours to complete the challenge, or they're disqualified. No death for not finishing the challenges. Oh, because the levels are deadly enough. Great. Oh, no. Super. Super. And every champion can choose whether or not to compete with their loved one. Unsurprisingly, Boone refuses to let Lyra compete alone. And that's when I started getting very worried about Boone surviving. I was like, and Boone's going to die.
Yep. Called it right then and there. I was like, damn it, damn it, damn it.
Damn it.
So when Boone and Lyra start the challenge, the first couple of levels go fairly well for them. He's like, okay, we got this. But then Boone suggests they kind of cheat in a way, and that they climb up the tower wall on the outside to get to the top, because it doesn't technically matter how they get up there, just as long as they do. He's like, who says we have to go through these levels? Let's just go out and climb up. What could go wrong? And Lyra agrees. She's like, okay, sure. They start climbing up this wall until all of a sudden something like comes out and hits Boone and causes him to fall off the tower and fall onto spikes and die. And you're like, oh, what? It felt like this happened way too quickly.
Yeah, it did.
Honestly. I was like, wait, out of nowhere, this like random thing comes out and just like, he's dead. You're like,
on spikes? Why couldn't he just fall? Why does it have to be on spikes?
Yeah, right? Like, it was just like a spike going through him and he's just like, and you're like, oh, fuck. That's bad. And Lyra's devastated, of course. But she has no choice. She has to keep on going. She has to climb to survive, literally. And so she's like trying to like avoid this like weird like octopus thing that basically killed Boone. And she reaches the top and Hades is there. And he takes her to his home in the underworld where she just like completely loses her shit. She's just like, I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe Boone is dead. And Hades is very comforting to Lyra. and promises to ensure that Boone is taken care of in the underworld, much like he did for Isabel. And he also promises to tell Lyra about why he is competing in the Crucible if she wins. He's like, because it's too dangerous to tell you now. I can't tell you right now, but I promise you I will. Just win. Okay, no pressure. Also, her best friend basically just died. Like,
Yeah.
ugh. But he does then promise to, again, save Boone, also if she wins, by making him into a new god. We're like, oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the plot thickens. He's like, I can't do it now as king of the underworld because I'm going to have to transfer all of my godly power to someone else, along with that title, to a mortal to save them. So this little breadcrumb basically for what happens later in the book. But this is also when like we kind of realize like Lyra is also seriously wounded again, but she can't be healed because she didn't win the labor, which we're like,
Shit.
it's not good.
I know.
Like she got healed from the dragon thing because she won the previous labor, and it's like, but now you're screwed. Now you're hurt
Right.
and you can't get healed. Like that's bad.
So she's out of it. She keeps having these recurring nightmares of Boone's death. At some point, she opens her eyes to see Hades in the room with her, along with Boone, because Hades brought Boone to her, even though it's not good for someone who's recently dead to see like her this close to his death. Boone begs Lyra to fight for her and stop worrying about him, to promise him that she'll live for both of them, and he mentions it'll be 80 years before he sees her again. And then she passes out.
It's like a little
When
Boone ghost came in.
Yes. And then she wakes up again and she can feel Hades' emotions, which is new. Turns out
Yeah.
Hades gave Lyra some of his blood because she needs to drink water from the sticks. And I'm like, isn't that what we talked about earlier that kills mortals?
That's good.
Yeah. And that's why she starts screaming when he like pours it down her throat.
Oh.
Several days later, she wakes up again and learns from Sharon that Hades has never been this distraught. He only left her side when Sharon forced him to do so. We also learned the labors continued without Lyra because she's been out for 2 weeks. 3 labors were completed without her. I was like, this is a long time. And Hades doesn't want her to compete in any more challenges, but she wants to continue and needs him to buy her a few more days.
My question also is like, is that allowed? Is she allowed to just like opt out of labors? It just is like,
I mean, she's pretty injured, so I assume they would allow that. And none of them want him to win.
true. So therefore,
So-
I mean, yeah,
So that, I mean, they probably like that.
yeah. But it's just kind of weird. She's like, what? Like, I don't
What?
have to do those? Like, why?
And it's been 2 weeks. What?
2 weeks? Oh my God, I was in a coma.
Yeah.
Can I get one of those?
Sounds like a staycation.
That sounds great. Later, Mikey, Zai, Trinica, and Amira are brought down to Hades' house in the underworld, and the rest of the champions should arrive in 15 minutes. So Lyra's like, I brought you all today to discuss a proposition for you. She said, okay, if I win, me, Lyra, hi, if I win the Crucible, and Hades is made the king of the gods, then everyone who perished in the Crucible will then be given a choice to either go to the Elysium, which is like heaven, yay, or be brought back, like to mortal again. And Day actually has a gift that comes very handy here and confirms if people are telling the truth or not. And he's able to tell everybody that, like, yeah, Lyra is being truthful. Like, Hades can actually do this and, like, is promising to do this. So it sounds like a no-brainer at this point that they should all take this deal because they've all pretty much, like, either, like, lost someone or, like, you know, obviously they all remember Isabel, but, you know, like, they're very much like, that sounds great. I love this idea. But meanwhile, Hades takes Lyra to the Elysium, which actually looks very different for each person. It's, like, very, like, personable, if you will. Like,
Yeah.
oh, if you like animals, like your version of Elysium is going to be like a bunch of animals, like whatever. And Lyra wants to know what her ideal place would look like. But Hades refuses to talk about her dying. He's like, nope, not going to talk about this. We're not going to go there. And she tries to get him to tell her about his ideal place. But he only says that he sees many things. He's like, I just see a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. I'm not going to tell you. But he does promise that regardless of whether the champions take this proposal, he's going to make sure that every single champion will end up in the Elysium. So it's like, wow, you're a really good guy, Hades. Like, this is suspicious. Why are you so good? You're supposed to be the king of the underworld. Like, doesn't make sense. But he's just like, everyone will get into Elysium, both retroactively and moving forward. And he also wanted to show her this so that she would know that if she doesn't win, then Boone will still be fine. Like he will be taken care of.
Mm,
Sweetheart, sweetheart Hades.
I know. And then we finally get a spicy scene between Hades and Lyra. We have been waiting
Ugh,
patiently for more than 85 chapters.
I have
And
not been
Lyra,
patient.
I was
Mm-mm.
like dying.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra takes the first step by just getting naked and getting in the water. And
I
then at
know.
first she's like, she doesn't think he follows her, but then he shows up and comments how he can't give her a future, but he wants her. And I was like, that sounds like every single morally gray bad boy. It's
Mm-hmm.
extremely hot. We'll talk about it in a second. Next morning, she wakes up in bed alone. Great. And when she sees Hades later, he is incredibly distant. She also learns from Rima that none of the champions are willing to take her proposal because of her vision that shows Hades becoming the king of gods and burning down the world, and no one can stop him. And I'm like, so let's get this straight. She had sex for the first time ever. He's gone the next morning, and now no one wants to be her friend, and they won't take her deal. She won't be able to get Boone back because if Hades wins, he will burn down the world. Okay. Cool, cool,
She's
cool.
like, that coma looks really good again. Can I go back
Right.
there?
Can I?
Thanks. Can I opt into my coma, please? Thanks. So during now the 11th challenge, it's Athena has the champions in a Roman Colosseum with all of the heads of the people who have died during the Crucible on the spikes. Great. What the fuck, Athena? You're fucked up. So to make matters worse, then, Lyra decides to literally call Athena a monster because she is. And she does not like that. She is very much upset about this and like wants to go after her. And the champions basically have to run in this maze that's filled with spiders and scorpions, bullet ants and hornets. And like get out. And if they don't get out within an hour, they die. Of course, naturally. So this is where Lyra's little animal friends come in handy. So she has her little tarantula come out and talk to all the little spiders there to leave her alone. And they're just like, okay, like we'll leave you alone if you don't hurt any of us. She's like, deal, done, great. So don't have to worry about spiders. That's great. And then there is her little panther that comes out and starts attacking all of the bullet ants, keeping her safe. And then her fox comes out to help her find the way through the maze. As she's going through this maze, she runs into Day, who offers to give her a petal to help her if her animals will let him by, which she does. And this petal actually gives her like a shot of like adrenaline and like invincibility kind of a feeling. So she's like moving through the maze still, and she hears that like somebody won. It was Mikey. She ends up winning the labor, and then Dex attacks her and kills her. What the fuck? Technically,
Right.
there's no rule against that though.
I
It's like,
know.
oh shit.
Great.
Like this is not good. I didn't know we could do this. And then Dex attacks Lyra, naturally, and Zai. And Trinity tries to help, but then Dex runs into Zai's sword and dies. And you're kind of like, okay, good riddance.
Well,
Bye. Didn't really care too much about you. Like, I feel bad for your nephew, but also, like, you're a dick.
I felt worse for Zai because now he's gonna think two people are like dead because of him.
I know, yeah. Zai is traumatized at this point. So then Lyra yells again at Athena because she is obviously pissed at Athena. But also, Athena definitely intervened and did something to Dex because that was not cool. Like, he was like deranged. Like, his eyes were
Yeah.
black. Like, it wasn't him. Like, something happened here. Like, what did you do? And she's calling her out on it. But Athena doesn't like that, naturally. So Sharon decides to help Lyra and takes her away.
And then Sharon tells Lyra that Hades is different around her and actually smiles. He insists that Hades wouldn't have slept with her if he didn't feel anything for her. And I'm like, I think we've heard that before.
Yeah, yeah.
Sharon, Sharon mentions how Hades, if Hades could have gotten Persephone out, then that would have helped. And that's when Lyra's like, excuse me, back up. What?
What? What
Oh,
do you mean?
Persephone's not dead. She's trapped in the bad place, Tartarus. Hades shows up. Lyra confronts him about wanting to be the king of gods to help Persephone and how sleeping with her was just to boost her confidence and to get her to win. And how she's just a tool to him. And he like doesn't really say anything. Hades claims that Lyra still has a chance to win, which she assumes means he wants her to kill Diego, who has the most points right now. But I think it's because Hades knows the last challenge will be worth more points. And then shit gets real because the two Damians show up to take Lyra. Hades is ready to kill them. He's like in full warrior mode. But they promise not to harm Lyra. She'll only be kept in their prison until the final labor. Turns out Athena requested death with a judgment of Tartarus as her punishment. And this is a compromise? And I'm
So,
like,
like, Athena, what on what grounds do you have really to like ask
she hurt
for her to be killed? Because she called you a
Megan.
monster. You got
She
your
hurt my
feelings hurt.
feelings.
She hurt my feelings. I'm a little baby god. Wah.
She needs to die.
She has to die for being mean to me. Like, okay,
Well,
toddler.
Hades, right? Hades won't have access to Lyra until the next labor, but neither will Athena.
So not bad.
Okay,
Nope.
I guess that's not bad.
Yeah. And you know what? Even better, it's an actually very bougie prison. Like, it's pretty nice. I'm like, can I check in? It looks great.
Right?
And Zai comes to visit Lyra, and he shares that Hermes has promised to make Boone a god if Zai wins. We're like, okay, cool. That's nice. That Boone's getting taken care of. Cool beans. And then Lyra asks Zai for a favor. And later, Aphrodite shows up and offers to give Lyra some pleasure as a way to get the Daemon to leave him alone for a few minutes. She's like, no, I'm good. And she's like, no, pleasure. They won't look. They won't come over and see us. Which I'm kind of like, they won't? Really? They wouldn't watch? Like, that seems surprising to me. Like, so apparently Zai did try to get Demeter to come and see Lyra. That's what Aphrodite's telling her. But she refused. So Demeter, again, is Persephone's mom. And Aphrodite's like, I came in her place. So here I am. What's up? And that's when Lyra's like, I need to tell you the truth about Persephone. However, Aphrodite won't tell Demeter the secret because it could start another war. She's like, are you kidding me? Like, if Demeter knew that her daughter was still alive, like, shit would go down. Like, she almost burned the world down after Hades told her Persephone died. So, if that was a lie, oh boy, it's going to be bad, bad, bad. So, it's actually kind of smart of him at that point to lie to her about what really happened because it's bad. So thank you, Aphrodite. And then she like, walks out and just like, okay, bye. Thank you for the love. And Lyra's like, next time, babe. And the Daemons are like, okay. Now it's time for the last labor. And Lyra gets to see Hades, who of course continues to just push her away. And she then shares that she told Aphrodite the truth about Persephone that, he doesn't love. And he also mentions every person he's trusted has betrayed him. And Hades tells Lyra not to die. And then he's gone. It's like, well,
Again.
okay, don't die. Bye. Thank you so much.
So, as expected, Zeus's labor is the worst one, but it does give the winner 3 wins to add to their score. And I'm like, that sounds great. Minus the fucking monsters they have to fight between each gate.
That's
First
good.
up, Minotaur. And it's real.
Mm-hmm.
The ones previously have been a lot like primarily enhancements. Not this time. So Lyra uses her dragon teeth to create bone soldiers to fight off the Minotaur, and they can't close the gates until all of the champions are through them. And
That's
if
bad.
escaping, right? If escaping the Minotaur isn't bad enough, a fucking kraken shows up in the desert. Which I'm
Which you're like,
how does that work?
didn't work.
So then the 2 remaining bone soldiers show up to help the champions. Everyone's like working together. The next gate is Sirens, also not great at all, but they have 0 impact on Lyra, and she believes that's because she's unlovable. She has the potential to win, but chooses to save her friends instead. And that's when she uses the pearls to go to the Isle of Sirens to bring them all back. Once they're all back, the champions are like, Lyra, you should go through the gate first. We want you to win. Only problem is the puppy is there. And the puppy is possessed. And he wants to kill Lyra. Which is super odd because the labor should be over. Like, she should have won. But she refuses to hurt him, even telling the bone soldiers not to hurt him. While Cerberus almost attacks her. Unfortunately, one of the bone soldiers has like thrown like a sphere or something. Cerberus is close to dying. He needs the sticks to live. And Zeus hits Lyra with lightning, so she's gonna die. And so Lyra puts the last pearl in the dog's mouth and tells him to think of the sticks. Because she saved the puppy. Yeah.
And then fucking Hades shows up. About goddamn time. And
Right?
he's
Where
about
have
to
you
go.
been?
Like, yeah, seriously, come on, dude. And he is about to go scorched earth on his brother Zeus. Like, oh, he is pissed. And it's also the moment where Lyra realizes she's in love with Hades. She's like, oh my God, I'm in love with him. Fuck, 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 fuck. And Zeus claims Aphrodite told him about Persephone and how Hades actually wants to use the box to free her. I immediately was like, oh, Pandora's box. That's the only
Yep.
box it has to be. But Zeus will not let him use it, and because it will just unleash the Titans on the world, which is very bad. We don't want that. And Hades also drops a bomb on the numerous ways that Zeus has actually cheated during this entire crucible, causing the demons to be like, yep, that checks out. And they take Zeus away. So they're like, no interfering. It's against the rules.
Also, where have they been? Shouldn't they have known
Right?
this by now?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you were there every single second. Something was slightly suspicious from Hades.
And you did nothing
Nothing.
with
Like,
Zeus. Whose side are you
rude.
on?
Right? Yeah. Favoritism. Calling it rough. Favoritism. Not cool. So now Lyra is there, just like dying, basically, like laying down. And she gets hit with like a jolt of electricity as Hades tries to bring her back to life. And he's just like begging her to stay with him. Turns out that jolt of electricity was Hades giving her his crown because he just couldn't lose her. So now she's the queen of the underworld and a goddess. Hell yeah. I love this. He also was like, I don't know if this would work or not, so I'm really glad it did. But he does also share that like what he sees in his version of Elysium is the two of them together. And that being without her would be his own personal hell.
Oh, I loved it.
Hades.
Hades. So a few days later, Lyra reunites the other champions to learn the winner of the Crucible. And she's named the winner, representing the survival virtue. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, girl, she did.
Dead.
Then the Damians voted unanimously that she was technically still immortal when she crossed the finish line. She was killed by something unrelated to the labor.
True.
So technicalities, but she wins.
Mhm.
And then all the gods and goddesses bow to Hades, including Lyra, which makes him the king of gods officially. His first act is to make Boone a god. And I did not know that he was going to have to take the power from someone else. And he does it from Hermes,
Which is funny.
which is kind of funny, right?
Mhm.
And then he also awards every champion a boon, which not all the gods love. And then we
Yeah.
get the epilogue. Hades is planning to use Pandora's box to get Persephone out of Tartarus. However, when he uses it to open the door, Boone and Lyra are sucked in somehow. The door closes immediately. Lyra sees an older version of Hades standing in front of her, Kronos. She can faintly hear him yelling for her. And now she's like, fuck, is Remba's vision of Hades burning down the world about to come true? Probably, girl, probably.
Yeah, because you're trapped and you weren't supposed to be.
And all I thought was, I need the second book immediately.
Mhm.
But we can't read the second book until we do this
Yes.
episode.
So no, we're going to close this out and then we're going to go read it. Like, what happened?
Yes.
What happened? I need to know. Now. Ugh.
Okay. Hot and steamy. This was like a 2.5.
2.5. Always need
Yeah.
more. But appreciate that we finally got there. I was like, thank you
Yes.
very much. But next
also-
time, please give me more.
Correct.
So we wait a long time. Chapter 89. Hades goes down on Lyra. Thank you. And then fucks her. Thank you. And he's just like, wrap your legs around me. Now. I do. And staring into my eyes, he lowers me until the swollen, jutting tip of his cock presses against where I'm slick with the pleasure he's already given me. I'm still pulsing with it. His dimples appear in full force as he offers me a wicked grin. And then he's pressing into me, stretching me, filling me. And he pauses once, letting me adjust, letting my body settle. And then, like he can tell I'm ready, he keeps going until he's deep inside me and my world narrows to a new reality, a place where we are joined.
It was really good.
I like
Okay.
it.
Time to theorize. We got a lot of theories. Where does
Okay.
Hades keep going? The most obvious answer is he's disappearing to take care of like various tasks related to his King of the Underworld role, like judging souls. We've seen that with like the Flesh
Yeah.
and Fire series with like Nyktos and stuff. However,
Yeah.
he is way too vague about his whereabouts when he does leave. And we also get like a similar impression from Sharon and Zebras. too that there's like more going on. So I don't
Hmm.
think he's going to the underworld to deal with stuff. Like I think there are other things happening in this world that Hades is orchestrating that we know nothing about yet.
Yeah, like maybe he's actually like trying to find like another way into Tartarus or something.
Yeah, who
He's like,
knows?
can I get in here without using Pandora's box? Like, did someone get out and escape and I have to like put them back? Or yeah, who knows? There's all
There's
sorts of
more going
things.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how can Lyra survive the fall into the waterfall? Well, a simple answer really is that she shouldn't have. Like, anyone else would be dead and just been like, woo, here I am in sticks. Even like Cerberus was shocked that she made it. He's like, only a demigod could have survived that. We're like, is Lyra a demigod? Is that what this is? Are her parents not who she thinks they are? Like, I also still don't believe that the people who are being her parents on TV were actually her parents. Like,
Right.
no, not at all. Those are paid actors, you know? And we definitely think there's something more going on with like his ancestry and her ancestry, like than we know of this far, so we'll figure it out.
Okay, so is the curse from Zeus real? We do believe Lyra was cursed by Zeus,
Hmm.
but I don't think it's what she believes it to be. So
Mm.
we know that Boone wanted to be friends with her when they were together in the Order of Thieves, but Lyra kept him and others at arm's length. If she was made unlovable and like couldn't be friends with anyone, he wouldn't have wanted that. We
Yeah.
also know that Zeus eventually acknowledges cursing her as a baby. He specifically says, "You are the baby I cursed in my temple, the unlovable one." If he, referencing Hades, knew all along, then he planned to become king. We might be reaching. You know, I love doing this. But
Yes.
join me down the rabbit hole. For starters, he's cursing her as a baby, whereas Lyra was told she was cursed when her mom's water broke.
Yeah.
What if the curse happened after she was born? Right? Because it's different. It's a technicality, but it's different. There's clearly something about her being cursed by Zeus tied to Hades becoming king, which means there is a prophecy out there that we don't know about yet,
Hmm.
perhaps tied to the stars.
Orion
I
star. So,
right? So we also know this alleged curse made we don't think this alleged curse made her unlovable, but it's something to do with who she is and how that might make others not love her, which is a very big potential difference.
yes.
Like if
Yes.
perhaps her parents are maybe another god.
Hmm. Or at least one of them was.
Yeah.
Hmm. Because there's a lot of like other like smaller gods out there that like are just like random, you know,
Yeah.
like when they're in like Olympus and they're just like walking the streets and they're just like, oh hey, there's so and so god of this, so and so god of that,
Yep.
and you're like, who? What? Huh?
I need a
Like
list.
there's a whole town of people here. Like I am
Yep.
the god of left-handed people. Like random. I'm just like, okay, like is that your dad? Like I don't know. Interesting. So yeah, I think you're onto something there. So now, can we trust Aphrodite? I mean, I love Aphrodite so much, but and she's probably honestly the only god outside of Hades that like might be worth trusting, but still suspicious, of course. Like, yes, she does attempt to help Lyra on multiple occasions, but she also told Zeus about Hades' plan to like use Pandora's box. So I'm like, maybe I don't trust you. Like, why would you tell on me? That seems kind of rude.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, of course, like what Hades is planning on doing is very dangerous, of course, but Zeus is very unhinged and hates his brother and also like doesn't want to like give up being king of the gods anymore. Like he's held it for forever. So like honestly, Aphrodite, why would you tell Zeus this rather than just talk to Hades about it? Like use love. You're the goddess of love. Why don't you use your
Mhm.
love? I don't know. Theorizing that maybe she had other motives for wanting Persephone not to come out of Tartarus. Maybe she put her in there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, what are the long-term effects of Hades giving Lyra his blood? We'd love to take it at face value and believe it merely helps save her life, but we know it has to be more. At a
Mhm.
minimum, she can sense and sometimes feel Hades' emotions. We anticipate this will continue and wonder if it might be a way for them to connect while she's in Tartarus and he's in the
Yeah.
underworld. Is it wrong that I'm hoping for dreamwalking?
That'd be so cool. I
Right?
like that. I like that. It'd be fun. I think it's really interesting. So, I mean, obviously, like giving blood to other people, I immediately think of like from Blood and Ash. I'm like, okay, now you're connected. So
Yep.
can they talk to each other?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is that also why she was able to become a god? Like why he was
Maybe.
able to like transfer the powers to her because he gave her some of his blood?
Well, he said before that he could do that to any mortal.
Yeah. But he wasn't sure if it would work.
Yeah.
He's like,
I
oh, thank goodness. Mm. Anyway, how did also Persephone get into Tartarus? Like, let's chat about that real quick. Can't imagine she volunteered. She was like, oh, this terrible place? Yeah, I would love to go and like plant a garden in there. No. There's no way she wanted to go there on her own. So someone must have sent her there or brought her there. Like, it was bad. So we have to assume that was probably another god or goddess because no one else would ever be able to do that, like power wise. And honestly, Hades would have probably destroyed them by now if he knew who it was. So he clearly doesn't know what happened. Like, or he's not sharing that information yet. Like maybe he does know, but he's like, let's get her out first, and then we'll make the world burn. Maybe Rima's foresight was correct. Who knows? But basically, shit's gonna go down when he does get her out. And we know somehow somebody was able to pull Boone and Lyra down into Tartarus when that door was cracked open, meaning someone knew Boone and Lyra would be there at that very specific time. So, who perhaps could it be? Somebody who maybe betrayed Hades, and that's the reason why Persephone is there. But who could it be? I don't know. Not really like a one person answer, because like all of his siblings don't like him. So like,
right.
who has betrayed Hades in the past? Who has he betrayed in the past? Everyone's really shitty to each other. No gods seem to like him. In fact, they all like just legit hate him and like don't want him to be the like king of the gods. So any one of them could have put her in there.
Yep.
Maybe Zeus.
That would be the most likely one, right?
Yeah.
So, who is the oracle Hades mentions at the end? So, we don't believe we've met the oracle yet, but they have been pulling strings for a very long time, perhaps as far back as when Lyra was born and cursed. Is it possible they actually orchestrated her being sent to the Order of the Thieves to prepare her for eventually participating in the Crucible? The oracle is also likely the reason Hades was at Zeus's temple the night of the Crucible ceremony and ran into Lyra. Plus, we know from Hades that the oracle told him to break her heart before the last challenge. This oracle is going to play a major role in the next book, and its identity is going to be very important. But I don't think we know who it is. I don't think we've met them yet.
Why were Boone and Lyra pulled into Tartarus? Tartarus. Oh my god, we're eventually going to say this right. I don't know. So
Tartarus.
It could be Tartarus. Tartarus. Tata.
I don't. Ta-ta.
The bad place. Okay, it could just be a coincidence. They were just the closest to the door, and somebody's like, "Ooh, it's cracked open. Let me just pull someone in." Don't think that's the case though, because Hades was the one who inserted Pandora's box into the door, so like had to be very intentional and likely designed to hurt Hades to do this, tearing him apart from the woman he loves, and then putting her with the man that Hades tends to get very jealous over. Would definitely be a thing against Hades for sure. And that could also be possible that the person who is orchestrating this entire situation wants Hades to burn the fucking world down. So our theory here could be that this person wants to then start another war among the gods. I still think it's Zeus.
Yeah.
I think Zeus did this on purpose. He wants a war because maybe he wants Hades to be gone. And
That's
like this is
possible.
the only way to get everybody to like team up against him.
I think it's going to be someone that we don't expect.
Oh. What if it's Hermes?
Well, he's dead now.
Oh, that's true. Never mind. What if it's
Aphrodite.
Athena?
Or Athena.
Athena seems very hateful. She doesn't like anybody.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll
Maybe.
find out. Book 2. Maybe.
So, are Hades and Lyra fated mates? Yes. You cannot convince us otherwise. There's too many breadcrumbs throughout the book for this not to be the case. We love Boone, but he's not it for us.
No. Sorry, Benny Boone. Not you.
All right, what's next? If you enjoyed this book, we think you'll also love the Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer Armentrout. You get totally different gods, different Elysium, spelled differently even, but a primal god of death who is a softie for his woman and would burn down the world for her.
Hmm.
Also, recommend checking out The Wolf King and the Night Prince by Lauren Paul Freeman if you're into dark gods, a bad alpha werewolf that we shouldn't like but can't help fall for. Because that's kind of what I was thinking as I was reading this. I was like, I should not like you, Hades. Just like I shouldn't like Blake, but here I am.
You're right. I'm liking you all the same. Very true. And then join us next week when we dive into the world of contemporary romance and discuss Honeymoon Phase by Amy Dawes. And don't forget to join us on January 14th when we deep dive into the second book in this Crucible series, The Things Gods Break. Happy reading.
Happy reading. Thanks for listening to Late Night Reads. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Late Night Reads Podcast. And check out latenightreads.com for even more information about all the books we're reading. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And share the show with your fellow book lovers.